presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party again has outlined a comprehensive strategy of improving the country's housing deficit at a cost of between $1.8 billion and $2.5 billion for the next 10 years. Interacting with local housing investors in Accra, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo proposed the establishment of a housing agency to coordinate all housing activities and the use of proportion of workers' pension fund and social security contributions.
If elected, Nana Addo will establish a regulatory body and a housing agency with the responsibility of identifying and creating additional land banks to meet current housing needs of the country.
We intend to deal with the perennial housing financing problem through the issuing of government-backed housing bonds and create the avenue for private capital and pension funds to channel their long-term funds into the housing fund, which will provide funds to support the private sector. We believe that this program will enable us raise over 1 billion Ghana cedis annually over the next 4 years for our social and public housing program. We shall also vigorously promote initiatives like the Collateral Replacement Indemnity Program, CRIP, under which insurance companies will be encouraged to underwrite the down payment portion of a mortgage, particularly for first-time home buyers.
He told heads of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association and MPP administration would ensure locals play more important roles in providing all forms of housing to reduce the current deficit facing workers. The MPP candidate said local assemblies will be supported to set up district housing funds to provide some leverage and infrastructure for rental housing schemes to newly engaged workers. He questioned government's commitment to housing needs of Ghanaians, citing failed deals with foreign entities to provide affordable housing units.
And the Akufo-Addo government will separate the policy-making and implementation functions of the Ministry of Water, Resources, Works and Housing. We shall set up a regulatory body and a housing agency which will be responsible for implementing our public and social housing programs. The housing agency shall, 1, be dedicated to developing new communities and townships in partnership with the private sector. 2, be responsible for acquisition, development, management, and allocation of land banks for housing development. 3, raise funding for housing infrastructure. 4, promote our social housing programs. 5, partner and provide loan agreements and off-taker agreements to the